I didn't go looking for proof. That's the part people don't believe when I say it out loud, so I rarely do. The bill came folded the way it always does, tucked between grocery coupons and a dentist reminder. I opened it at the counter while the kettle warmed, not suspicious, just moving through the choreography of a Tuesday night. The repetition was what caught me. One number, then again. Midnight, 12:07, 12:23, 47 times in a month. It didn't feel like infidelity yet. Felt like a misprint, like a clerical error that would correct itself if I stared long enough. She'd been saying for months that she hated her boss, the way people say it when they want absolution before they're asked any questions. She said he was condescending, needy, incapable of doing his own work. I listened. I made the right noises. I believed her because believing her required less imagination than doubting her. When I asked about the number, casually the way you ask about a traffic delay, she shrugged. Said work had been stressful. Said he didn't respect boundaries. Said she was managing it. Managing it was the word that stayed. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I didn't demand to see her phone. That would have made sense, which is probably why she expected it. Instead, I went quiet in a way she'd always interpreted as retreat. I let her underestimate the silence. I let her think it meant I was absorbing, processing, doing nothing. That's when I made the call. Hiring a voice actor felt absurd at first. Too clever by half, like something from a story I'd roll my eyes at. I sat with the idea for days, uncomfortable with how easily it presented itself. I told myself I wasn't trying to trap her. I was trying to hear her unguarded. The truth spoken when no one is performing. The actor's voice was calm, older than my wife, edged with fatigue rather than rage. I asked him not to threaten, not to plead, just certainty. I know everything. A sentence that doesn't ask for proof. I didn't listen live. I left the room. That was the rule I made for myself, as if distance could launder the ethics of it. I stood in the garage, hands in my pockets, staring at a shelf I'd meant to organize for years. When she came to me afterward, she was shaking. Not hysterical, just undone in a way I'd never seen. She closed the door behind her like someone sealing a vault. She thought I was her safe space. That part still sits wrong in my chest. She talked in fragments at first. Confessed the way people do when they're trying to outrun consequences. Fast, breathless, convinced that speed equals sincerity. She said it started with work calls, that it felt flattering to be needed, that she never meant for it to cross lines, except lines are only visible in hindsight. I didn't interrupt. I didn't comfort her either. I turned on the recorder quietly, the click almost polite. There were details I didn't need but received anyway. Times, excuses, the strange intimacy of secrecy disguised as professionalism. She cried when she realized how long it had been going on. She cried harder when she realized how much she'd enjoyed being wanted. When she finally stopped talking, the room felt emptied out, like a house after movers leave. She asked me what we were going to do. I told her I needed time. That was true. What I didn't say was that time had already shifted something irreversible. Listening to the recording later was worse than hearing it live. Her voice sounded lighter without the strain of fear, almost relieved. I wondered what that said about me, that the truth came easier when she thought I was powerless. The authority entered a week later, quietly, through paperwork rather than confrontation. The company had policies. The recording met thresholds. HR didn't raise its voice. It didn't need to. The boss was placed on leave pending investigation. Emails followed. Language tightened. Control moved hands without drama. My wife watched it happen with a confusion that bordered on awe. She hadn't expected consequences to be so procedural. No shouting. No villains monologuing. Just doors closing. We didn't celebrate. There was nothing to toast. At night, the house felt larger. Every room holding questions neither of us asked. She apologized, often. I accepted none of it fully, rejected none of it either. Dignity, I learned, can look like restraint when revenge would be easier. I still don't know if what I did was right. I know the truth I heard changed me. I know I no longer mistake silence for weakness. And I know that power doesn't always announce itself. It sometimes arrives as a file number, a meeting invite, a calm voice saying we'll take it from here. The kettle still warms every evening. Bills still arrive folded. But the ordinary no longer feels neutral, feels earned.